Hello everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you very much for joining me here. We're going to take a quick look at XRP, and we usually look at Bitcoin first, but there's no real point because XRP is effectively the same thing. I'm kidding, but also not. It's very much aligned with Bitcoin right now. And to summarize with Bitcoin, I mean, we're looking at 51,500 to 52,000 is kind of the range right now. It's trying to break that key level resistance at 52,300, which is a major Fibonacci retracement line. But good news is it's making higher highs and higher lows, and it's allowing other altcoins to kind of start taking off. We might see that here soon for XRP. Now, before we jump in, I'm not a financial advisor. I just love teaching people how to trade, and this is my day job, right? I love doing this, and I have a trading community designed with that specific purpose. So if you're not currently a member, consider joining. First of the month, we'll have available spots. I'll actually have a trading academy rolled out next month, as well as our website to help transition away from Patreon. For now, that's where everything is currently set, if you will. All right, so go ahead and check that out in your own time. Now take a look here at the one-day chart for XRP. We got the moving averages working their way in. We've got the 50 coming down to the 200. So traditionally speaking, you'll see that work as a negative, right? Whereas you refer to that as a death cross, where the 50 intersects with the 200 in a downward fashion. I'm not super concerned with that because Bitcoin doesn't have one of those presently. And even though XRP is very much similar to Bitcoin's price movement, the moving averages are off of course based on its history. Therefore, I wouldn't concern yourself too much, except for the fact that the 50 obviously worked as a resistance level recently. And with these two coming together here soon, we might see the price kind of come down first before it comes up, just based on the fact there's two moving averages moving down, right? Or essentially sideways and down. So that could push the price action down. If it does, we do have 88 cents as a secondary support level. I don't foresee that happening based on Bitcoin being fairly stable right now. And again, stability from Bitcoin gives stability to XRP. This little correction here, by the way, just so you know, I know that it was a bit on the overextended side because we saw a big increase from XRP, but this 9% correction was like a 3% correction from Bitcoin. If that gives you any indication of how exaggerated XRP is in that sense, right? Obviously, no coins are going to be exactly a mirror image of that, but in that sense, you got to understand that, a good increase, good healthy increase from Bitcoin will result in a nice increase from XRP. That's what we're seeing here today, of course. We have somewhat of a green day. All right, so good stuff there. We're up over 50 on the RSI, though. That's important. That implies that we have a key level support right around 91 cents, which is extremely important. And ultimately, the macro looks fairly decent. I would say more positive than negative for XRP. Now, taking a look at the moving averages, this is where it gets interesting. And this is the moving average I prefer to utilize at any given time. I think it's the best time frame for it. Kind of the midterm time frame on the 4-hour, where we got the actual 50-day sub moving average working its way up and effectively pushing the price action higher. So that could and should continue to push the price action up higher. And I think that will be more likely to drive the price up than down, at least compared to the moving averages on the one-day chart, right? So I think I carry more weight on the 4-hour personally, just based on the fact that it kind of helps give us that indication. Now here's something that's equally as awesome. And this is usually a very, very good sign to go along, essentially, right? So if you see a MACD convergence on the 4-hour chart, that's almost always a green light to take a position to the upside. Okay, so hypothetically, based on that one sentiment, we're looking pretty good. You add everything else together, we got a good, good handful of things that are looking and more complementing, XRP instead of the inverse, right? So I really like what I see here so far on both time frames. RSI is up over 50 as well, and this is also important. We need to have RSI over 50 and under 70 preferably on the 4-hour chart in order for us to have that nice continuation to the upside. But we're looking pretty good here. Let's take a look at the 1-hour and see if we get that double rainbow effect. And what I mean by that is I typically like to take entry on a coin that has a MACD convergence in the 4-hour. And of course, we have all green lights on the Ichimoku cloud. Well, we do have that right now, even though we got a bit of a sell-off here. That's based on Bitcoin's recent decrease. The last couple of hours, it's kind of digressed a little bit. We can see that break through the cloud. We've also got the lagging span for even any price action and the conversion lines above the baseline. So all good things here. Everything kind of checks the boxes. So, it might seem concerning that the price is coming down right now, but that's natural based on the simple fact that we're getting up to what? Look at that, 7, 8. So at this point, we're still at an overextended state, so that's why it's correcting itself. And in fact, you can probably take a look on the 15-minute here and identify the volume weight average price. You can see how outside of the realm that is. There's a standard deviation created by the volume, especially in the last 24 hours, telling us, hey, XRP is on the overextended side. It needs to correct itself and come back down. So it's doing that now. As long as we can stay over the volume weight average price here, which is presently right around 93 cents, we'll be in good shape. So I'd say the bottom is 93 cents presently, and if it were to come down and correct itself any further, we might need to reevaluate and expect maybe 91 cents as the next available target. But ultimately, we're looking very, very good here for the short term and the long term. Even the midterm looks great. So we check all the boxes. Just note that we're having a correction right now because Bitcoin is correcting itself too, right? You see this little 2-hour decrease in price. Well, XRP is doing something similar, okay? And it's doing that because it came up too hard too fast. Bitcoin didn't need to do that because it had a nice steady continuation. That's the thing you need to understand. XRP can be a little bit on the volatile side, and you just have to understand that that's kind of part of its nature. That's why it has kind of a 2 to 3x version of Bitcoin. So that's why you can see higher highs, or higher gains rather, and larger losses with XRP. It'll surprise you, but it's doing very well right now, and I would say consider adding to your position at this point, because I do think that we're going to be in a position to kind of progress upwards closer to 106. And here's something you really need to understand too, because I was looking at this earlier. XRP has a tremendous amount of volume at 108. So if we look at this here, just say we take the last 8 months. Right there at 108, we have a very strong resistance channel. So a tremendous amount of volume at that one price point. In fact, even if you squeeze it in just to say the last 4 months, you'll see a very similar scenario. 108 is a common denominator. So that being said, you need to understand that that price being so much volume at that specific price point, that causes a resistance channel. Okay, so I just want you to exercise caution when the price comes upwards of $1 plus, upwards of $1.08. You will see the price likely slow down and get rejected by that time frame, or sorry, that price point, because of the simple fact that there's a lot of volume in that area. So 106 is a major Fibonacci retracement level. 108 is a major volume resistance level. So you got to respect 106 to 108, and just note that we're probably going to see some turbulence when it gets to that point. But between now and then, you could probably get yourself a cool 10 to 15% before it gets there, right? Obviously, depending on your entry, etc. Just again, big picture. If you are adding to your position, dollar cost average, XRP is your thing. Go ahead, add to it. Don't really worry yourself too much with any of the things I said that might be potentially adverse here. In other words, the price could retrace down to 91, probably likely only 93 based on the volume weight average price on the 15-minute chart. But at this point, I do really see a lot of good things here. I do think the XRP is going to continue to progress upwards. We're just going to see a little bit of resistance at 108. And then, of course, once we break that plane, we'll be on to the next target of 118 and, of course, 135. Okay. We'll reevaluate this more consistently. I do appreciate all of your support. And, of course, those who keep asking for this coin, because believe it or not, this one is actually getting to be more popular, so I'm going to need to have to cover it more frequently based on how many requests I get. So I hope you find benefit and continue to learn. If you're not currently a member, consider subscribing. I think you'll find great benefit. I do appreciate your time. I hope you have a good rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.